Hello, hello. Welcome to the Make Your Studio Facebook page. I am Cheryl and I create over on the Home of My Making Facebook page where I do a lot of projects using the Maker Studio stencils. So I hope by now you have seen all the fabulous stencils that have come out for the Christmas season in the Maker Studio line of stencils. And I am going to show you a project with this fabulous stencil. So this is a big stencil. It is called Fresh Cut and it's 12 by 18. So there's a lot going on here. You have this top piece of the stencil that you could use by itself, or all the little ones you could use individually. You could use the word Christmas trees, you could use farm fresh. You don't have to include all of that in the stencil when you're using it, but then you could use it in its entirety. Then you have a little truck with some Christmas trees in it, some axes, and then a line of trees, which I always like these because you could always add them to a lot of things. So even moving forward, this farm fresh segment of it doesn't necessarily have to be Christmas. You could add it to a decor piece in the middle of spring. So remember, when you have your stencils, don't always think this is just a Christmas theme, because farm fresh without anything on here doesn't necessarily have to be a Christmas stencil. So keep that in mind. So if you are just hopping on, I am Cheryl and I create over on the Home of My Making page on Facebook. We are now showing you the Fresh Cut stencil, which is a huge stencil, and I'm going to be doing something with it today. If you're just hopping on, also don't forget, tag 3 friends and share this tutorial to your Facebook page and you will be entered into the giveaway for this fabulous stencil. So let me take it out of its pack. This particular stencil, and don't forget, save your sheet or your sleeve and that sheet of paper or cardboard in there to stabilize it when you put it back. This has cut lines on it, so that's the first thing I'm going to do. I'm just going to go ahead and cut where the cut lines are. But like I said, you don't have to use this in its entirety. You could use it in different sections. And I'm going to go ahead and cut this. And then I am going to cut the axe away from the truck. So you have a lot going on here, a real lot. Like you can even use the pine, spruce, and fir as its stencil by itself. So look at all that detail. The great thing about the mesh is it does allow for a lot of intricate detail, and that's what I love about these stencils. So I'm going to use these 3 today. So what I went ahead and did is I got some Trivets. I happen to get these at World Market, but they do have them at IKEA if you have one near you, and I'm sure Walmart has them. But I'm going to use 3 of them today, and this is what I'm going to do. So I love mixing colors. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use the stencil with the little truck. And I'm going to use, let's see. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do this. Okay, so I'm going to try to plan it all in my head. The grass is always greener color in the gel art ink. I'm just going to make it a little bit less green. So I'm just going to add just a little bit of white. Then I'm going to use and the white color in the gel art ink is called Well I Declare. So I use grass is always greener in the gel art ink and the Well I Declare. And now I'm going to put Hey Y'all down because I think I'm going to do the truck in that color. I'm just getting prepared because I'm going to use so many different colors. You could use them right out of the tube. And then this is the black, which is the can't, never, could. So I'm just going to put a little bit there. Now we have a bunch of different ways that you can apply the product. We have squeegees, and they come in all different shapes, and a little stylus, which is really good for detail because it's almost like a pencil. And then we have a spreader, and sometimes I like the spreaders when I'm doing multiple colors, only because I need to get switched. So I'm going to do that, and I have some that I've already cut up into a smaller segment because I like to have more control than using a big spreader in an area that is small. So I have some cut up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix that green that I put here on a plate, and I'm just going to get it just a little bit lighter until I achieve the color that I want. I'm going to put a little bit more white in there. One of my favorite things to do with all the products is mix them and just come up with a unique custom color. Again, if you guys are just hopping on here, go ahead and tag 3 friends and you will be in the drawing for this fabulous stencil. And there's a lot going on in this stencil. If you just hopped on, this is the top of the stencil, and then it has a few different pieces. It's a really, really big stencil. It's called Fresh Cut. It comes in a sleeve that big to give you a reference of how big it was before I cut it up. So now I'm going to apply the stencil. Keep your back so that you can put them on later after you have washed the stencil and let it completely dry. I'm going to try to center this a little bit. Now I got my product ready to rock and roll, so I'm just going to put that down flush against the surface. I'm going to take one of my pieces of my little spreader that I had made smaller. I'm going to take a little bit, and I'm going to do the tree. I am going to do this in 3 different colors, hence the reason why I grabbed the spreader. And I already prepared the colors on my plate of what I wanted to use. And that's only because I'm going to use 3 different colors. There you go. Then I'm going to get another little piece of squeegee, and I'm going to do the truck, but I'm not going to do the wheels. Another reason why I wanted it to be these little spreaders, so that I can get into that little area without getting it all mixed together. And then I'm going to, after I'm done with this, I'm going to grab the black gel art ink and just do the tires. And I am making sure that it goes through and presses through. And how I could be sure that it does that is once I don't see the surface color anymore, which would be the cork, I know that it pressed through. Just gonna move that and come in on a different angle. And these are gonna make good trivets or even hot plates for the upcoming holiday season. And it's a usable project. A usable project, that's what I like. We don't need more stuff. I would like to make a project that is usable. I'm gonna grab a, I think I'm gonna make it a little bit smaller. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take the squeegee and make it really small, because I got a little area to get into with the black. And I just think that by making it smaller, it gives me a lot more control of the area that I need to go into. Now I'm going to grab a little bit more black, and I'm going to do the tires. And my favorite part, every time I use this stencil, and it never ceases to amaze me, is when you remove the stencil and you see the detail of it on your project. That's the best. Okay, I'm going to put all 3 of these in a water bath. I do have a water bath going over there because everything is reusable and washable. Okay, so I'm going to put this in a water bath. For those of you wondering why I'm doing that, normally you would get up and go rinse it under a sink and then lay them sticky side up to dry, but I don't want the product to dry in my stencil, so I just keep it over there. So isn't that cute? Simple, simple, and easy project. So now I'm going to take the axe, and the colors that I'm going to use for the axe are the metallic silver, which is going to look really cute, and the Well-I Swanee, which is the dark brown, and the Well-I Declare. Again, I'm going to mix the brown and the white because I don't want the wood color of the axe to be as dark as the Well-I Swanee color. So again, by adding it a little bit of white, it just gets it a lighter version of the same color. As would by adding black would make it the darker color, the darker version of the same color. So just added a little, because sometimes a little is all you need to change the color of the white. Just might add another little dot. I gotta be careful because the color of the cork, I don't want it to compete with the color of the handle of the axe. Okay, so that's just lightened it just a little bit. I'm gonna keep that there. I'm gonna put some metallic silver in my dish just to so I can grab it real quick and get set up before I place my stencil. So these are gonna make some cute gifts too, if that's something that you're interested in. Is I'm using these for my own use. If you want to give them as a hostess gift, you know, you could bundle them together. This set happened to come with 3. You could tie a ribbon around it and give it as a hostess gift as we're going house to house this year, right? So I'm going to take the brown and the little spreader that I had cut, and I'm going to do the wood. So if you look at that, there's a wooden handle and then there's the axe part. Look at the detail in the wooden handle. It's got it almost a wood grain. So that's going to look really fabulous after I get the gel art ink on it. It's going to emphasize that. And that's the good thing with a mesh stencil, is the detail, which you can't get in a regular, just a plastic stencil. Because usually on a plastic stencil, that whole opening, that whole inside of the axe would be open because that's how they make them. But not with mesh. You have so many different little intricate designs that you could do. So again, I have the metallic silver, and of course I'm going to use that on the axe part. Now these are simple projects, but you made it your own. Again, if you guys are just hopping on, don't forget to tag 3 friends and share this to your Facebook page, and you will be in the drawing for this particular stencil. I love the metallic gel art inks. They kind of add a little bit of pop. And this is such a simple pattern, being it just an axe, and I'm going to again put that in the water bath, just the axe. But you can even see, even on this cork, you could see the detail in the stencil. And this cork isn't a totally flat surface, but you could see the detail in the wood grain of the handle. So another simple project. And then one more is the trees. So I am going to run that across this stencil. I'm going to run the stencil across the cork. Again, I save all the backings because that's what we adhere the stencils back onto when we are done. And then we store them in the sleeve. Just trying to see what part of the tree I want. The whole thing doesn't fit on there, but that is fine. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the white gel art ink and the green. I am going to leave the green in its natural state, but I'm going to gradiate it down. I'm going to start with the white on the top, like if there was snow on the tree, and then I'm going to bring the green through. And just put a little bit more on there. And you can work right out of the containers. It's just because I am doing 2 colors that I am not going to do that. Again, I'm going to get 2 spreaders ready for me so that I can get this done. So what I'm going to do, now press these firmly so that they butt up against whatever surface you're putting on. And normally when I hit the surface with the spreader and whatever product I use, I like to get it in the gray area. I don't like to put my first touch to the surface and the stencil where the detail is, because I don't want to have anything happen with too much going underneath the stencil. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a little bit of the white and I'm going to touch the top of each tree with the white, just a little bit, not the same amount on each tree, and maybe just the little sides of the tree, like if snow had fallen on there, just a little, just a little. This way it looks like it snowed on the top of the tree, and then maybe some of the side of it. Now I'm just actually just going to flip that over and I'm going to use it on here. I'm even going to grab another one. So I'm going to take a little bit of my green and then I'm going to do the rest. And these are just simple projects that you can do, but they would make, like I said, great hostess gifts. You could use them yourself. It's something that obviously is a usable DIY craft, right? Who doesn't need Trivets? They could also be a decor piece too, because they're so sweet. So I'm just spreading it through the stencil. Again, I could see the background color of the cork disappearing as I'm doing this. Just making sure wherever I didn't hit the white, I get the green. Gel art ink. Making sure it's all covered. And then I can pull it off. Just making sure I get to the end. I'm going to put that there. Remember, the spreaders are washable. Everything's reusable. And so are the stencils. Now I'm going to lift it. So just a little bit of the top of the trees are white. Can you see that? Just a little. Isn't that sweet? So just a little bit of snow has hit the top of these trees. So there you go. 3 projects, all Trivets that I did, mixing some colors, right? Customizing some colors with the gel art ink. And again, it's a usable gift. You can, when they're dry, you can layer them on top of each other and then wrap them in a ribbon and give them as a hostess gift, or you could use them for yourself. Now I can go back and matte seal the top of these to just secure the color in there, so that just in case they got wet, and I will do that when I get off the live and they're dry. Also, we do have the matte sealer, so go ahead and check that out in the product catalog. So thank you guys for joining me. If you just hopped on, don't forget, tag 3 friends and share this Facebook video to your page, and you will be in the drawing for this fabulous stencil. So look, I still have to do this. I haven't even used this part of the stencil yet, but one good thing you can do with this, you could actually take a piece of watercolor paper and do this design on it and just put it in a frame. Just put it in a frame. And then you got your own decor piece. So great, great, great. So thank you guys for joining me. And don't forget, tag 3 friends and share this video, and you'll be in the drawing for this particular stencil. So go check all the stencils out. There's tons of them that were just released. So thank you guys for joining me, and have a great day.